وجودك فتى نذيرا ويا قمرا بعد ذاك السراج منيرا بدا للدياجي مبيرا ويا صاحب البينات الذي يرينا نعيما وملكا كبيرا أجر عبدك المستضام الذي أتى بك مولى الورى مستجيرا وأخرج من أرضه فيكم فجاب البراري إليكم فقيرا فكن لي معينا ولي الإله على الظالمين وكن لي نصيرا وخرب ديار طغاة البغاة ودمر كبيرهم وصغيرا إلهي شفاعته بهذا الوصي فشفع شفيع السميع البصير.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه يستعين في جميع الأمور. الحمد لله وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. الله خير عما يشركون. بديع السماوات والأرض وإذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد حتى لا يبقى من الصلوات شيء. وسلم وبارك وارحم وترحم على محمد وآل محمد حتى لا يبقى من التسليم والبركة والرحمة والتراحم شيء. كما صليت وسلمت وباركت ورحمت وترحمت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وظائفنا تسبيح أسمائكم يا بني المصطفى دابا ونعم الوظائف. بتأييدكم نستطيع درس علومكم والتقوى على التقوى أقوانا الضعيف. ولا زال يخشى سوحا طه وآله. سلام الإله الدائم المتضاعف. عليك سلام الله مظلوم كربلا. إمام الهدى كهف الردى كاشف البلاء. أنا طاهر سيف ندى عبدك الذي. أنا طاهر فخر ندى عبدك الذي. عليك يا ابن المصطفى الطهر أولا. وتغشى صلاة الله طه وله الهدى والدعاة المطلقين ذوي العلا. يا إمام الحق مولانا الحسين صفة الله وصف المصطفين. أنت زخري أنت كهفي يا حسين. في حياتي وإذا ما حان حين بأبي أنت وأمي يا حسين وبأهلي وبولدي وبعين إذا ضاق بي يوما خناقي وضاق بي سبيل النجاة ناديت يا آل أحمد أغثني أغثني يا ابن عم محمد وخذ بيدي ما لا يا روحي لك الفداء هم الزخرة في الدارين لا ذخرى غيرهم هم مستجار اليوم هم عدتي غدا على الله في كل الأمور توكلي وبالخمس أصحاب الكساء توسلي محمد المبعوث وابنيه بعده وفاطمة الزهراء والمرتضى علي يا إمام الهدى أقم أعمدي واجعل التسكين في خلدي إن لي أرضا أزارعها فأدم سقياك في بلدي طالما قاسيت من تعب في عمارتها فخذ بيدي لست معتمدا على أحد ليس إلا عليك معتمدي وأتيتك يا ابن فاطمة مستمدا فأوفني مددي. Fellow believers, mu'mineen, mu'minat, believers and worshippers of Allah Taala, believers who love Allah subhanahu and His awliya kiram, the people of God who are chosen to guide us towards God. We are those believers who recognize the high rank of these awliya kiram, the people of God, and recite their name day and night. We take the name of Muhammad Sayyidul Anbiya, his Wasi Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib Sayyidul Awsiya, Muhammad's daughter Fatimatu Zahra Sayyidatul Nisa, and Muhammad's two grandsons Hassan Hussain, the Panjatan Pak, the pure five. Humul khamsatu tahra man la nazira lahum fil bawaqi wala fil khawali.
Humul khamsatu tahra man la nazira lahum fil bawaqi wala fil khawali.
In this poem, in this verse, it says that these pure five Panjatan, none like him will ever come, nor have they come in the past. Their shan, their noble virtues are of such high station. We mu'mineen believe that these Panjatan and their successors, Aimmat Tahirin, descendants of Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, father to son, in the line from Hussain, the succession will continue till the day of Qiyamah till the day of judgment. Just like this succession of Imamat, one guide divinely appointed by Allah Taala, one after the other, from the day on this earth man was put on it, was created to guide him. Since then, the first Adam, in the esoteric books, he is called Adamul Kulli. The first Adam, who is the complete intellect, the first Imam on this earth, and in his line, the descendants, father to son, the Imamat continued from one cycle, Darul Kashf, of 50,000 years, and then Darul Satar, one after the other, like day and night. The succession of Imamat continues. And when the Panjatan came, Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussain, and in their line, in their descendants, Imam after Imam. And the 21st Imam, Tayyib Imam Abul Qasim Amir al-Mu'mineen Salawatullahi alayhi, went into seclusion, into concealment. But the line of Imamat, the succession, divinely appointed succession, is compulsory. And today, the Imam of our age, Imam al-Zaman, Khalifatul Rahman, Allah Ta'ala's Wali, is present today on this earth. That is our belief. And when our Mawla is in concealment for the guiding of the people, amongst the people, he put forth his du'at muttaqeen. The succession of the du'at continued from Maulana Zoeb till the 51st Da'i Syedna Taher Fakhruddin, and his successor Syedna Muhammad Burhanuddin, who appointed Babaji Sahib, Maulana Khuzaima Qutbuddin, all who passed towards the heavenly abode after establishing Imam al-Zaman's Dawat. Today I, Mamluk Ali Muhammad, establish Imam al-Zaman's Dawat and guide Mu'mineen toward Haqq, towards truth. For you Mu'mineen are the glad tidings of our Imam, Salawatullahi alayhi, who says that on the day of judgment, Imam says that we will be holding the Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's hand, and you Mu'mineen, saying to the Shia, you will be holding our hand. And then Imam Salawatullahi alayhi asks the Shia who are present, by drawing this image of the day of judgment, and he asks them, where will you be going at that time? When you are holding our hand, we are holding the Prophet's hand. One of the Shia humbly does honors that we will be going to heaven, insha'Allah. At that time, Imam Salawatullah alayhi says, Wallahi, by swearing an oath on God, says, Wallahi ilal jannati, insha'Allah. We will be going to heaven, insha'Allah. Mu'mineen, nobody doubts that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will be going to heaven. Those who believe in Rasulullah. Therefore, nobody doubts the Imam will be going to heaven. And therefore, when we are holding Imam al-Zaman's hand by pledging our allegiance, what does that mean? What does it mean when we say we are holding his hand? Physically, as I said right now, Imam al-Zaman is in concealment. So it is metaphorically. But what does it mean? It means that pledging our allegiance, what does that mean? It means that we believe what Imam al-Zaman asks us to believe. We accept his guidance and we believe in Allah Taala. That is the true meaning when we give Misaaq, when we say Naam, yes, to the call of Dawat. We are accepting that belief. We agree to follow. When we say La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah Taala. Then we say Muhammadun Rasulullah. Muhammad is his messenger. These two things, bearing witness to both of these things, cannot be separated. Because when we say La ilaha illallah and Muhammadun Rasulullah, we are believing what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asks us to believe in God. How to believe in God. That is the reason when we bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger, we believe, we follow him. And after Muhammad, in his descendants, Imaman Ba'da Imam, one Imam after another Imam. We follow, we believe. That is what that means. And that will lead us to our heavenly abode. Insha'Allah Ta'ala, as the Imam said, Wallahi, Mu'mineen, Mu'minat. We are gathered here in Abaa Husain Salawatullahi alayhi Wasallam's Chehlum night. What has brought us here is our muhabbat, love for Imam Husain. Love, if you think about it carefully, has no physical realm. It is completely spiritual in nature. 1400 years almost have passed since Imam Husain was slain on the battlefield of Karbala. But today, 1400 years later, we are here gathering to remember our Mawla, to remember the calamities that befell upon him. Love, spiritual in nature, crosses all time and space. There is no limit. And that love will take us to paradise, to eternal life. No time and space. That is the beauty of love that has brought us here, Mu'mineen. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that mourning for Hussein, to shed our tears, to weep for him, if you do so with sincerity, paradise will be yours. Rasulullah said, Man baka aw abka aw tabaka ala waladi al-Husayn wajabat lahu al-Jannah. Paradise is compulsory, is what the Prophet said, for those who cry, weep, shed tears, or even try to shed tears, try to weep for Hussein. Mu'mineen, Hussein, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's grandson, Sayyidul Shahaadat, king of all martyrs, is Hussein. His lofty station, Mu'mineen, is so great. There are so many noble virtues. If we spend the whole night reciting them, they would not get over. They shine like luminous stars for us. Aqaid wajhan, Hussein, Mawla, who established the true Dawat and sacrificed his life for the continuity of the true Dawat, so that people who come till the day of judgment will bear witness and speak the kalimatu Shahaadat, recite the kalima La ilaha illallah. That is why Hussein sacrificed his life. Mu'mineen, Hussein's high station near Allah Taala is made clear from this riwayat, this story, when a man came to Rasulullah and asked Rasulullah that I do not have any children, and asked Rasulullah to pray for him, that if you pray for me, God will grant me children. At that time, as Rasulullah was about to pray for the person, Jibreel came and said that it is not in his fate that he has children, this man, so do not pray for him. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting and Hussein came to him. Usually Rasulullah would do shafaqat on Hussein, would bring him close, kiss him on his forehead. But this time Rasulullah was saddened. Hussein asked, why are you not doing the affection that you usually do to me? Rasulullah said, I am very sad that I could not pray for this woman who asked for me. At that time, Hussein was only 4 years of age. And he says to Rasulullah that I, Hussein, give him one child. I pray for him. Rasulullah said to Hussein, my dear son, we cannot do that. Hussein says, I pray that God give him 2 children. Such is Hussein's high rank and station that he kept saying, as Rasulullah would say, don't. Hussein would keep giving more and more till he said, I give him 7 children. At that time, Jibreel came back and said to Rasulullah that because of your grandson's hurmat, his high rank and station near Allah Taala, God has given this man in his fate 7 children. Mu'mineen, such is the high station of Aqaid-u Jahan. Even before Hussein is born, when Jibreel was going to Rasulullah to give the glad tidings that Hussein will be born soon, at that time when Jibreel was going to Rasulullah, he came across an angel who had fallen to the earth, whose wings, angels have wings. These are all metaphors, mu'mineen. His wings had been weakened due to his sins. So when Jibreel passed, he did araz, he supplicated that will you do araz to Allah Taala? Will you ask him to forgive me? At that time Jibreel told him that to whom I am sent right now, his station is so high, to Rasulullah, I will ask him. So Jibreel, when he delivered the glad tidings of Hussein, that Hussein will be born, at that time he also did araz to Rasulullah that this angel is asking for forgiveness. His wings have become weak. Rasulullah said to Jibreel that when you go back, you go and tell that angel that when Hussein is born, to come to Hussein and touch his wings on the pure body of Hussein, and he will be cured. He did that. He was cured. He was forgiven. Mu'mineen, we come here today to remember that Mawla Hussein, on whose body the enemies of Hussein, the enemies of Rasulullah, ran over with horses, put his head on a spear.
Ya Hussein!
Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! दोष पे था आज वो सर है नेज़े पर, आज वो सर है नेज़े पर, कल जो नबी के दोष पे था आज वो सर है नेज़े पर, आज वो सर है नेज़े पर। एक ज़माना ऐसा था, एक ज़माना ऐसा है, एक ज़माना ऐसा है, आज दुलारा ज़हरा का मेहमा बन कर आया है, मेहमा बन कर आया है। वो मुसलमानी कैसे थे वो कलमा गो, नबी के नवासे को रखा भूखा प्यासा है, रखा भूखा प्यासा है।
Mu'mineen, Hussain, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam showed his high rank by placing Hussain on his shoulder, saying, Na'mal Farisani Huma. Rasulullah said that Hassan and Hussain both are true Imams, Imama Haqqin. He says, Rasulullah saying, those who believe in Rasulullah should believe this. When Hussain Imam was on the battlefield of Karbala, he argued with the enemies and told them that, have you not heard Rasulullah say this about me? That I am the true Imam. On what grounds have you come to try and kill me? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam showed Hussain Imam's lofty station in many times, many ways. Once Rasulullah was in prostration in sajda during namaz, and Hussain came and sat on Rasulullah's back. Hussain was young. People were praying with Rasulullah. Now Rasulullah does not get up from the prostration. It takes a very long time. And when finally Rasulullah sat after prostration and the namaz completed, people asked him, why did it so long? We were worried that something serious had happened. Rasulullah explained to them that when I was in prostration and was about to get up, Hussain came and sat on my back. And if I had gotten up, Hussain would have fallen. Therefore, Jibreel came to me and told me that do not get up from your prostration so Hussain may not fall. Therefore, I waited for that. Mu'mineen, Hussain's luminous head. It is said in one of the narrations that on a dark night, Hussain's forehead used to shine, so people would take guidance from that. Mu'mineen, it is that Hussain's head that the enemies of Dawat, the enemies of Allah Taala, put on a spear after slaying Hussain in Karbala. It is narrated that they would take Ahlul Bayt, Hussain's haram, from one town to the other after Kufa till they reached Sham. And when they went from one town to the other, they would carry Hussain's head in a chest. And when they reached that town, they would take Hussain's head out and again put it on the spear. In one of the towns where they did such things, put Hussain's head on the spear, and night had come. In that town, near that town, there was a rahib, it's an Arabic word, a priest. He was a Christian priest. He had a small hut over there where these people, the soldiers of Yazid, put their encampment and took Hussein's head and put it on a spear. The priest, the Christian priest, it was his habit that he would get up in the middle of the night to pray. That night when he woke up to pray, he saw that where the soldiers were camped, there was a light in the middle of the night. He saw a luminous light going from earth to the sky, and he followed that light and came over there, and what he saw was that light was coming out of Hussein's forehead. At that time, he asked the soldiers that whose head is this? And they answered that this is the head of Hussain, son of Ali and Fatima. Fatima, who is the daughter of Prophet Muhammad. At that time, the priest asked them, Rasulullah, your Prophet Muhammad's daughter, his son? They replied, yes. At that time, he told them that if Masih, Isa, had children, we would have kept him in our heart. And then, by God's inspiration and direction at that time, the love he felt for Hussein, he asked the soldiers, if I could keep Hussein's head for one night, and he had 10,000 dinar, ashrata alaf dinar. Because of their greed, they agreed. And the rahib, the priest, took Hussein's head in his hut. And at that first time after Hussein's Shahaadat martyrdom, he washed Hussein's head and put it in his lap. And all night he cried and he wept and shed tears for Aqqa Hussein.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. चढ़ाया नेज़े पर जिसके सर को चढ़ाया नेज़े पर जिसने इस्लाम को बुलंद किया जिसने इस्लाम को बुलंद किया ये न पूछो हमें हुसैन है क्या पे जो सवाल हुआ दोषे अहमद पे जो सवाल हुआ थोड़े से मोह हुसैन रन में गिरा
Azadaran Hussein, Mu'mineen, mourners of Aqqa Hussein, Azadaru. When morning came, he took the head back to the soldiers and asked them, is there any successor of Hussein? They pointed towards Ali Zainul Abidin, who was sitting there shackled from neck, in his hands, in his legs. That priest then came to Zainul Abidin, fell on his legs, pledged his allegiance to Zainul Abidin, Mu'mineen. Hussein guided people and still is guiding people, even after he was slain. And today we are gathered here because of Hussein's guidance, because of his sacrifice. We are Mu'mineen, we are believers because of Hussein. Mu'mineen, never forget Aqqa Hussein. Recite his name with me, Ya Hussein.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. करबला ना भूलेंगे, भूल जाएंगे सब कुछ करबला ना भूलेंगे वो जफा न भूलेंगे जो हुसैन पर गुजरी वो जफा न भूलेंगे भूल जाएंगे सब कुछ करबला न भूलेंगे भूल जाएंगे सब कुछ करबला न भूलेंगे क्या वो गम का अफसाना भूलने के काबिल है क्या वो काफिला प्यासा भूलने के काबिल है क्या फुरात का पहरा भूलने के काबिल है कत्ल आम इतरत का भूलने के काबिल है भूल जाएंगे सब कुछ करबला न भूलेंगे भूल जाएंगे सब कुछ करबला
Azadaran Hussein. Today on Chehlum night, Mu'mineen, and tomorrow on Chehlum day, thousands of people gather in Karbala to take wasila of Hussein, pray by his hurmat, by his sanctity to Allah Taala. Today we are gathered here. I wrote a qasida. In that qasida I wrote this first verse. نفسي تحج إلى الحسين بكربلاء قلبي يذوب بذكره متبتلا نفسي تحج إلى الحسين بكربلاء
نفسي تحوج إلى الحسين بكربلا قلبي يذوب بذكره متبتلا
Azadani Hussain. With our souls, we do pilgrimage, we go to Karbala. Love has no time or space. With our hearts, we are in Karbala, remembering Hussain. Our heart melts when we remember the calamities that befell Hussain, his Ahl Bayt, his Ashab. May Allah Taala give us yari aid in remembering our Mawla Hussain on this night and tomorrow and forever, inshallah.
Ya Hussein!
Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein!
Mu'minin ki Jamaat. In this Waaz, in this sermon on Chehlum night of Aqa Hussain, this is the first time we are delivering this sermon in the English language. I was asked to do so by Mu'mineen. There is an ayat in the Quran that says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن رَسُولٍ إِلَّا بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ. We have not sent a messenger but by the language of the people. Mu'mineen, Dawat, as you heard before, the succession, the chain of succession from the day the earth was, from the day man came on this earth, has continued through different languages, many different languages, until Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who brought the religion of Islam with the language of Arabic, came with the Quran, and then the Imamat succession continued. In those times everybody spoke Arabic. And then when Imam Tayyib, the 21st Imam, went into seclusion, the Dawat was continued by Imams Amr, by his command, by the Du'at. But Yemen also people spoke Arabic until the Dawat came to India. Syedna Muhammad Izzuddin, the 23rd Da'i of Yemen, and then the first Da'i of Hindustan, of India, Syedna Yusuf Najmuddin. In India everybody spoke Gujarati. But even before then, during Imam Mustansir Billah's time, Maulaya Ahmad and Maulaya Abdullah, the two Da'is, came to India. That is how people answered the call of Dawat, of the Imam. Those two Da'is came to India, learned the language of India at that time to explain to them the true meaning of Dawat. It is from that long time ago. But they did so in the language that people understood. Imams, Babul Abba Muayyad, he was from Shiraz, which is in Iran today. So, Sayyidina Muayyad, when he was in Iran, in Shiraz, he delivered sermons in Farsi and even translated Sayyidina Qazi Nu'man's Asasut Tawil, the Khitaab, into Farsi, so people may understand. Mu'mineen, today Imam Zaman's Da'i and his humble servant Mamluk Al Muhammad, with Allah Ta'ala's aid and Imam's inspiration, decided to deliver this Chehlum Waaz in America in the English language for the first time in the history of Dawat.
Narai Takbir!
Mu'mineen, Mu'minat, Mu'mineen from India migrated to far and beyond, to the east and the west. And the reason I said I will give the sermon in English is that we want to integrate all our people, all our Mu'mineen brothers and sisters, not segregate them. We want to explain to them the meaning of Dawat in the language that they would understand, not keep them secluded from that. So in the east as well as the west, in Imam's description, Syedna Taher Fakhruddin says in a verse, Imam Ali Sharqi wal Gharbi, Ya Sayyidan lil Ujmi wal Urbi.
إمام أهل الشرق والغرب يا سيدنا للعجم والعرب.
He is the Imam of the people of the east and the west, of foreigners and of all Arabs. The language of the Quran, Mu'mineen, is in Arabic. Sayyidna Muayyad Shirazi goes at length in his majalis. Azim Shan Majalis, Mu'mineen, Muayyad's lofty station is so high that Mustansir Billah said to him, Ya hujjatan mashhuratan fil wara wa tawda ilmin a'jaz al-murtaqi.
يا حجة مشهورة في الورى وتوضع من أعجز المرتقي.
Mustansir Billah said to Muayyad, you are our famous Hujjat. Hujjat is a high rank of near the Imam. Muayyad is the Babul Abbab, the highest of ranks after the Imam. He says to him, you are the mountain of knowledge which nobody can climb. This is Muayyad in his majalis. He argues that there are 5 to 6 majlis when he continues in detail, Mu'mineen. Today I will only summarize one short aspect from this. That he says that how is the Quran an argument on foreigners, people from Fars means Iran, from Rome, from Turkey, from India, Wal Hind, when Arabic is not their language? How can you make an argument when they do not understand? If they are asked to believe something that they do not understand, that ask itself is wrong. Similarly, he says, if the Arab were asked to believe in something with a foreign language, it would equally be wrong. Therefore, the main conclusion of this argument is that Quran, he argues that Quran is a miracle. Miracle in the language for the Arabs, but not for all the other people who do not speak that language because they do not understand. But the meaning of the Quran, that the Quran delivers, the meaning that is hidden inside those words, that is a miracle for all the people, for everywhere. Not just for the Arabs, but for everybody. The true meaning, Mu'mineen, true meaning of the Quran, not interpretations done by here and there. So many people who do tafsir, they call it tafsir, explaining the verses of the Quran. And then they expect other people to choose from that, which they like better. It's a person chose from many different versions. And that land of maybe, I say this many times in the Waaz, that they are never sure and never certain. In that tafsir also they say the same thing, that maybe it is this or maybe it is that. Sayyidna Abdi Ali Saifuddin says in one of his verses in the qasida that the meaning, we are the people of meaning. We understand the true meaning. Says Hasalna ala aynil huda duna ghayrina فقوم على المعنى وقوم على الاسم.
حصلنا على عين الهدى دون غيرنا فقوم على المعنى وقوم على الاسم.
We have been given true guidance. We are the people of meaning, is what Syedna Taher says. Not just the overt words. The true meaning is inside, what is conveyed. Maulana Taher Fakhruddin was once asked that, do you believe in Tawil? Means the inner meanings of the Quran. Syedna Taher Fakhruddin replied to that person, yes. So he asked him, what is that? He said, the words are overt, that is Zahir. The meaning is what is the true meaning, is the batin, is the Tawil. That is the essence. That is what you understand, and that is what formulates your belief. But who can claim such a position? There are so many claimants who claim that my version is correct. The most truest person who can claim such a position is Rasulullah, who bought the Quran himself, who recited the Quran. Muayyad argues that if you had gone and asked Rasulullah that what is the meaning of Ham Mim, Quran ayat, and Rasulullah said, I do not know, how would it look? If one had asked Rasulullah, why are there 3 rakats in Maghrib and 4 rakats in Isha? And he said, I do not know, who would believe him then? And as Rasulullah knew, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that as Rasulullah explained the true meaning, the truth, al-haq, after him, he appointed Amir al-Mumineen, his wasi, in his place to continue to explain the true meanings of the Quran. Otherwise, and appointed him by divine inspiration. And that person who is appointed continues to receive divine inspiration. Therefore, the meaning of the Quran, the truth, is never distorted. Throughout ages and ages, overtly, as I said, languages changed. Isa, Masih alayhi salam, he addressed people in a different language. It was not Arabic. Musa alayhi salam, Jews believe in him. He delivered not in the Arabic language, but the meaning has to remain same. The true Dawat, Dawatul Haq, that cannot change. And that has never changed. When I was studying in London, in university over there, when I was doing my masters, there was a professor who was giving lectures in Sha'irul Jahili, poetry of pre-Islamic poetry. He was very outspoken, and he would explain this poem of this pre-Islamic poet in great detail, that he may have meant this, he may have meant that, when he said this, when he said that. So one day I had gone to his office and I had asked him that, it seems to me that whatever you're saying is all conjecture, that you think he said, he meant so and so. And he told me, yes, that is what it is. So I asked him, then what is the point? Nobody really knows the truth. It is the one who brings the book, Rasulullah and his descendants, who are the true upholders of this knowledge by divine inspiration, who established the true da'wat. They know. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said so during his khutbah in Ghadir Khum, when he appointed Amir al-Mumineen, made him Mawla of all Muslimin and Mumineen, by saying, Man kunta Mawlahu fahada aliyun Mawlahu. And then he also said that I am leaving behind 2 precious things amongst you. Inni tarikun feekumus saqalain, Khitaab Allahi wa itrati, this book of God, the Quran, and my descendants. وَإِن تَمَسَّكْتُمْ بِهِمَا لَن تَضِلُّوا. And he goes on to say, Rasulullah says, that if you hold on to both of them, as I started my discourse in the sermon, holding their hand, holding on to them, taking the meaning from them, accepting their guidance. Rasulullah says, if you hold on to them, you will not go astray. And both of them, the Imam and the Quran, my descendants and the Quran, they will never be separated till they meet me on the day of judgment. Now, if this Muslimin, they say, recite this hadith in their books also, is this not argument enough that they should believe in the Imam, Rasulullah's descendants? Mu'mineen, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Wasi Amir Mu'mineen, who explains the true meaning of the Quran. Amir Mu'mineen said, Innal ilma alladhi nazala bihi Adam. Adam is the one who came with all the knowledge. That knowledge, the true knowledge, is with Muhammad and his descendants. And then Amir Mu'mineen says, then where are you going? Why are you not coming to them? In the Quran, there are many, if one goes only on the overt word of things, there are many contradictions one will find. Once it says in the Quran in one ayat that if the Quran, the ayat is like this, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدَ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. That do you not contemplate, do you not pray the Quran properly? If it was from anybody else other than Allah Taala, there would be a lot of differences. Now just look at all the different tafsirs. There would be a lot of differences, ikhtilaf. Syedna Husain, the 8th Da'i, argues this in his Khitaab, Idah wal Bayan, and says that once in the Quran it says that there is the earth and the sky was made in 2 days. Once it says it was made in 4 days. One says in 6 days. And then in 7 days. Which one of them is true? Who will explain the true meaning? It is the Imams. And during his seclusion, Mu'mineen, that on knowledge, that ilm, through Ma'iyad, whose zikr I just did, Mustansir Billah, past that knowledge would come to the Dawat in Yemen from Ma'iyad min du'atin qadayyidatum sawari barakatil Ma'iyadi Shirazi.
من دعاة قد أيدتهم سواري بركات المؤيد شيرازي.
It is Mu'ayyad's barakat that has come to the Dawat. Mu'ayyad's knowledge, Imam's knowledge, Ali Muhammad's ilm, the true meaning of the Quran, the true meaning of Sharia, the true meaning of life, why we are here. What are we doing on this planet? Why has God created all this? All those meanings are written down in esoteric books by our du'at hundreds and hundreds of years ago. When people were talking about the earth being flat, our du'at, when today science is understanding the earth is so many billions of years old, 500 years ago, this is written down in the books. But even before that, that knowledge was passed. That how many billions of years it took to make this planet, to make this celestial whole falak-e dawwar, this whole universe that spins around. And for what purpose? Our du'at explain that. That meaning, that is the true meaning. And they do not change that meaning. In the Quran ayat, it says, describing the du'at, مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ رِجَالٌ صَدَقُوا مَا عَاهَدُوا اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. In Mu'mineen, there are those men who are true, who what allegiance they pledge to Allah Taala, truthfully, they are completing that. Those who have passed and those who are yet to come. But they have not changed anything. They have not changed the true meaning. Today, Mu'mineen, we are in almost 900 years after Imam Zaman has gone into seclusion. The Dawat Mutlaqeen have carried the banner of truth, the ilm Ali Muhammad with them, and continuously teach that to people, to Mu'mineen, and not change that. Sadly, today we see in the Bohra community, I call them the Mubaddali firqa, people who are claiming themselves that Nas appointment, which is by divine guidance, the divine appointment can be changed. They're not just talking about the Sharia, the most important foundation on which our religion is based on. They say that can be changed. That is not short of any heretic nonsense that people before these have come with, saying that the succession has discontinued. There have been those times also where those people believe the succession of Imam discontinued or succession of Dawat discontinued. But it continues till today. Syedna Taher Fakhruddin, I say this on this Chehlum night, because it is Imam Husain Chehlum. This is the biggest proof, the biggest sign. And he said that the reason they wanted to slay Husain was that they wanted no one from Rasulullah's descendants to be alive anymore, so that the light of God would go away. That was their reason. But that did not happen. Husain took Ali Zainul Abidin with him to Karbala. The same sword they used to sever Husain's head, they could have used on Ali Zainul Abidin, but they could not. Because nobody can override God's will. The true Dawat continues today, Mu'mineen, and will continue till Day of Judgment. Insha'Allah Ta'ala. Mu'mineen Mukhliseen.
बयानो शहनाए जाज
Mu'mineen Mukhliseen. Because of constraint of time, I will shorten certain bayan, otherwise it will take very long. I do this bayan with Allah Ta'ala's aid, His Yari. Imam Zaman, my Mawla, His Ta'id. Whatever good and right that I say is because of His Yari and His Ta'id. And if there is any transgression, I ask for forgiveness from Allah Ta'ala, from me and Mu'mineen Mu'minat. This has been, Mu'mineen, a custom in our sermons to say this when the sermon ends or in the middle. I do this bayan, Mu'mineen, and I urge you all to listen with your hearts and minds and understand the true meaning that our Mawali has espoused in the Quran. Allah Ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Lahu da'watul haqq. Unto Him alone is the call of the true da'wat. I will repeat this. Every word in the Quran is a miracle of Rasulullah, because divine, it is said with divine inspiration. It is true. There are no contradictions. Where people see outside contradictions, the meaning will explain that there are none. But the true meaning will be understood. Lahu da'watul haqq. Unto Him alone is the call of the true da'wat. What is the meaning of da'wat? We use that word very commonly. Da'wat means calling somebody. It is even used for calling people to your house for dinner, or however so you want to. But this is the Dawat calling towards a belief, the true belief. Haqq means truth. But now, I will say this in summarized way, Mu'mineen, try and keep your focus because time is very short. You can only believe, this is Muayyad said this, Sayyidina Muayyad. You can only believe if you understand something. Otherwise, how can you believe something you do not understand? Otherwise, it becomes make-believe. It's fiction. It goes into mythology. So, to believe something, one has to resort to critical thinking. Today, there are people who will have us believe that religion is the suspension of critical thinking. On the contrary, I would say they are the ones who are suspending their critical thinking. When they say one can never know, well, if you never try, you will never know. If you never try to reason, you will never know. In the Quran, Mu'mineen, there are so many verses that are addressed to people of the intellect. I have here almost 50 verses here. It will take a long time, but just to understand, there are so many more where the Quran addresses the intellect. Syedna Muayyad says that it would be wrong if it was not the intellect that is being addressed and people are being forced to do something that they do not understand. Many people say that people believe in religion because they are scared of death. That is, to a certain degree, would be true for a lot of people. Death is a reality. And also it is a call to awareness that all of this is temporary. We all know that death is a fact. In America, people say taxes are also a fact, but there are loopholes in that. Not in death. There are no loopholes here. Everybody will perish on this planet. Physically. Quran is filled with so many verses regarding death. Rasulullah SAW puts it in such an amazing way and says that death is a gift to you. Do not be afraid of it. It is what is going to take you to heaven. Your soul will reach that high station after the shackles and bonds of the physicality are gone. Mu'mineen, the true Dawat, which is established by the godly people who espouse godliness, awliyaullah. I will show in a very short time, I will try, that it is based on these 4 universal truths. The foundation of truths, the true Dawat. The foundation is on 4 pillars, like the Kaaba has 4 corners. These 4 truths are universally accepted by almost all religion, and I would say by most people who have common sense. I will explain them in 4 chapters. The first one is the intellect, aql, by which we reason things. So one has to understand to believe. The second one is justice. We all want justice. We all believe in justice. The third one is free will. You have to believe by your own free will. The fourth one is love, which espouses goodness, kindness. There are so many ayats, as I said, about aql in the Quran. Allah Taala says that in the skies and the earth, in their making, it details in all details about the sun, the moon, the ship that sails in the sea. In all of these are signs for people with intellect. Everything we do for a reason. I don't think anybody would like that if they were trying to become an engineer or a doctor and somebody told him all this is for no reason. They would be highly offended. Humans do everything for a reason. And then to say all of this creation is so that people live and die, and it is so temporary and for without reason, is not acceptable to humans with common sense and intellect. But there is no blind faith. Babaji Sahib Ridwanullah alayhi, someone asked Babaji Sahib that, is there blind faith? Should we just believe without thinking? Babaji Sahib told him that no, faith is not blind. You should not believe in blind faith. You should see with your eyes. But to see with your eyes, you have the power to see, but you need the light. Otherwise, a person with the ability to see and a blind person are exactly the same in a dark place. Similarly, intellect needs guidance. Now, if one were to argue it does not, let me point out something very, very simply, so not to elaborate very long. If one was a child and was left alone, would he even speak a language? He is taught, he is guided by his parents. Therefore, one should always be thankful to their parents of all the things they teach them until the person reaches, man or woman, maturity, starts thinking more. But without that guidance, he will be nowhere. So why not accept guidance in the matters of faith from people who know the truth, people who are chosen? Now, who is chosen? How do you know? That is a good question. We will come to that. But one should not blind their own eyes. Syedna Muayyad says if one does that, he would be called a crazy person. So why would you put blindfolds on your intellect and not ask the most relevant questions as to why, what, where, how? All of these things are so intrinsic. People go around the world trying to figure out who they are. It is all in their mind. First question yourself, why are you here? Mu'mineen, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam says, the first chapter, reason, aql. Rasulullah's great shan. In one sentence, he captures the whole essence of truth when he says, Man arafa nafsahu arafa rabbahu. The one who knows himself knows his creator. The intrinsic meaning is simple in this. It's the first building block, that you first believe that you exist, which nobody, no sane, common sense person should argue against it. There is the reason. But you know you did not exist. And now you exist. And you know you did not create yourself or others. That knowledge is common sense deduction by your intellect. By your reason you come to that conclusion that I am created. And if I am created, that creator is my creator. There really is no argument behind that, against that. In the Quran it says, أَوَلَا يَذْكُرُ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَلَمْ يَكُ شَيْئًا. Does the man does not remember that we made him before when he was nothing? So creation from nothing. Amir Mu'mineen Salawatullah alayhi says, Awwalu diyanati billahi ma'arifatuh. The first belief in Allah Taala is what? Is to recognize Him. That to believe that I am created and He is my creator. That tawheed, that belief comes from aql awwal. In the first creation, when aql awwal, the first intellect as he is called, because he is called first intellect for him being the first in recognizing, in doing tawheed of Allah Taala, of Mubdi' Haq Subhanahu, by this same virtue that I am and I was not. And neither me or all those that are created have the power to create from nothing. Nobody has that power. Science will tell you that in physics, the law of physics is what is created cannot be uncreated. But it will not tell you who created that. They don't want to talk about that. That is even far more important. And that is the Creator. Therefore, it is said, when we say, La ilaha illa hu, first there is negation, that there is no God amongst us, but He. That is the affirmation. Syedna Hamiduddin, Ridwanullah alayhi, Babul Abbaf of Hakim Imam explains that by reason that you see a chair and immediate understanding is somebody made the chair. You see this kainat, this universe, this whole creation. The immediate reasoning understanding is there is a creator of this, who created everything from nothing. Min Adam. And when the Tawheed, Aql Awwal did the Tawheed of Allah Taala, and as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِذَا بَلَغَ الْكَلَامُ إِلَى اللَّهِ فَأَمْسِكُوا. If your words reach Allah, then stop. You will not be able to comprehend Him. Babaji Sahib was going to Baitul Muqaddas when there was a reporter on the cruise that Babaji Sahib was taking to, because at that time it was not allowed to go to Israel. But if you went through the cruise ship, you were able to stop at Haifa, at the port, and they would not stamp. The cruise people would keep the passport and you could go for the day. Babaji Sahib went on that to go to Masjid al-Aqsa. On that ship, there was a reporter. He knew Babaji Sahib he thought he was a priest, so he asked Babaji Sahib, describe God in one sentence. Babaji Sahib told him, God is beyond imagination. The human intellect is so powerful. It can imagine so many things, but it cannot imagine God. It cannot comprehend that. Mu'mineen, time is of the essence. I will keep this summary that so with reason we believe. We are created and believe in the Creator. And this belief we have understood from God's people who established the true Dawat and call to the Dawat the people of intellect. This reason leads us to the next chapter, which is justice, fairness. There are so many ayats in the Quran. I will keep it short again. The Quran says, Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli. God commands you to be just. There are many verses in the Bible. The Lord is a God of justice. There are many, many verses in the Bible. There are all religions would espouse to this, that God is just. Now, one has to only take a look around in this world and see the amount of differences. When the Quran says, Ma tara fi khalqir rahmani min tafawit. In God's creation you do not see any differences. We see a rich person, a poor person, a blind person, a person who can see, person who is in difficulty, a person who is not. So many different things that make people question, where is justice? And why is it like this? Mu'mineen, it would take a very long time to explain in detail, but everybody believes that God is the most just. So, in this creation, the differences we see, which the Quran says there are none. The Quran is talking about the first creation. When every aql, every intellect, the spiritual, in the spiritual realm, was created equal. As in English they say, not an iota of a difference. Everybody, that is just. And one, the first one who did Allah's Tawheed became first. And therefore, he will always remain first because everybody followed him. Now, coming to this realm, the second creation, which we see, that is the only explanation with reason and justice, that what befell upon people who did not answer the call of Dawat in the Ibda, in the first creation. These details are given in our books, Mu'mineen. May Allah Taala aid you in gaining that knowledge, inshaAllah. So when they did not answer the call of Dawat and they came to this world so as to establish the true Dawat here, so people have a second chance. They were brought into this human form with the intellect, which is a trace of the intellect in that world, a very small. And in here we see in humans there are so many people, so many differences. Some are more smarter than others. There are differences. But it is the intellect with which itself is an argument to seek, to understand why we are here, what is all this. And therefore, the true Dawat being established, Imam after Imam. Then for someone to say that in this age there is no Imam, that is not justice. Syedna Muhammad says, Rasulullah was told by Allah Taala in the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We sent you for the Alameen, for the whole universe, being a rahmat. Rahmat is a very deep word, Mu'mineen. Not just mercy, compassion, blessing, ni'mat, and most importantly, the faiz of Ibda, the divine inspiration, is part of the rahmat. Rasulullah was sent as rahmat personified. Syedna Muhammad argues that then after Rasulullah what? So therefore is God, as in English they say, playing favorites on some times. In one time there is Rasulullah and there is another time there is no one. Syedna Muhammad says in one of his verses in the Quran, أَقُلْتَ بِأَنَّ الرُّسْلَ لِلَّهِ حُجَّةٌ وَلَا رُسْلَ بَعْدَ الْأَوَّلِينَ فَنَاقَسْتَ. If you say that the prophets are the signs of Allah, they come and show guidance towards Allah, and if you say there are no prophets after the first ones today, then you are at fault. You are saying that God is not just. So in every age, وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ, for every qawm, for every people, there is a guide. For every time, Rasulullah said, somebody told Rasulullah that you have not done justice. Rasulullah told him, if I don't do justice, who will do justice? Many people find faults in this matter, in this world. They stop believing in religion when they don't understand a lot of things. That why is this like this? Why is some young person being afflicted with so much difficulties in different forms? I do not wish to elaborate right now. It would take a long while. But everything is placed in accordance with people's own doing. When they came to this earth, when they did not answer the call of Dawat in that first creation, what they held within is what comes out today in the form that they are in. All these details, Mu'mineen, are in our Kitabs. Mu'mineen, Rasulullah and his descendants established the true Dawat. As I said, the true Dawat which started in the first creation. They established it on this earth, so people with intellect who are just, the reason makes you want to believe things should be just. Otherwise, how do you believe? So those who answer that call of Dawat will attain eternal life. But now I come to the third chapter. That is connected to free will. That one has to do that by his own accordance, by his own volition, not by force. All people, I would say mostly all people, will call that their religion asks that everybody believe in their religion with free will. If you put a gun on somebody's head and ask them to pray, they will pray. But that prayer will not be what he wants to do. It is what you desire, what you want. That is your free will. That question you have to ask yourself. In the Taqreeb conference in New Delhi, I, in my speech, said that because it was talking about communal harmony, I said all religions espouse free will. If that is the case, then nobody should be forcing anybody. There should be no communal violence. Those are just outside justifications people give for that. Free will. Mu'mineen, all religions have different ways of believing, different ways of saying things. Most of the religions are offshoots of the true religion. When people broke off from succession, the true successor, they lost the true meaning. And then things started changing. Babaji Sahib used to give us this example that when the train leaves the station, they look very similar, going in the same direction. But one may be going east and one be going west. After a while, you can see the difference much more clearer. As we can see after Rasulullah, those who believed in Amir Mu'minin, Ahl Bayt, Imam Zaman and his true Da'i today, versus those people who keep changing one after the other, did not believe in the true successor. Things changed. The true meaning changed. And the whole belief system changed. Mu'mineen. Free will. There are many ayats in the Quran which otherwise would look contradictory if not explained by this reason and the justice that I just explained. In one ayat of the Quran, it says, وَمَنْ يُضْلِلِ اللَّهُ فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ. Whomever God misleads, no one can guide them. If God is going to mislead, no one can guide them. So where is the free will here? In one ayat, contradictory to this directly, says, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever chooses to believe can believe. Whoever chooses to disbelieve can disbelieve. These are opposite each other. What does it mean? Nobody, when this is the second creation, this is the only explanation, that no one has the choice where they are born. So there are past history behind which led to this situation that you are in today, where you are born, your upbringing, etc. But there is also choice. In the Quran, again, two different ayats. One ayat says, قُلْ لَنْ يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا. We will not receive except what is written for us in the fate. Now, that is very fatalistic. There is nothing you do matters, it seems, if you are just to go by this ayat. But it says you have to choose, your choice. It says, La ikraha fid deen in another ayat. There is no compulsion in religion. There is no compulsion in belief. Nobody can make you believe. You have to believe. You have to understand and reason. You have to understand the justice. And by your free will, you have to say, yes, I believe so. That is the meaning of giving Misaaq. And pledging allegiance means that I believe so. by understanding. And mu'mineen, the fourth pillar, as I would say here, muhabbat, love. As free will is connected to free will. Because love, if you consider, can never be forced on anybody. You will never be able to be forced to love somebody. It is such a pure essence of free will. These are all universally accepted truths, as I said. We should ask. Here we are in America, most people are Christians. There was a friend in California who was a neighbor. In long time we had this conversation, and he was a very nice gentleman. He said that God talked to one of his friends. There was a conversation we were having. So after I listened to him, I asked him that to me, I am not disbelieving what you're saying or trying to pick an argument. But I told him it feels very unfair that he would talk to him and not to you. At that time he was very taken aback. Why is he talking to him only? Where is the fairness? Why did Masih, Isa, Son of God as they claim, came during one time? What about people before? What about people after? They have to believe other people. Those people were special. They could see the Son of God according to them. As one would argue that people of Islam during the time of Rasulullah, they had this great favor from Allah Taala. No, every time, in every age, God's justice prevails and has to be. That is the reason we come with, to justify the justice and free will. And then, after understanding and believing, you come to this conclusion that you were created. That desire of love for your Creator. Inna Allahu al-ma'ashuqul awwal. Ikhwan Safa says, God is the first beloved. He is the one who created us. Everybody in that way came from one place. Therefore, when people fell to this earth, the uqul, the intellects, the suwar, ruhaniya in that world had compassion towards those who fell. That is why they did what they did, established the Dawat here, sent imams to guide us back. For the compassion, for being similar, being created by one and only Mubdi Haq Subhanahu. Mu'mineen. These four pillars, reason, aql, the first one, second one being justice, the third one being free will, the fourth one being love. Halid deenu illa al-hub. Religion is but love, is what Imam said. Wajjahtu wajhi ilaykum ala yasina وَمَا اتَّخَذْتُ سِوَى حُبِّي لَكُمْ دِينًا.
وجهت وجهي إليكم على ياسين وما اتخذت سوى حبي لكم دينا.
Syedna Taher Fakhruddin says, my religion is love for you. He says this to the Imams, Mu'mineen. Love, muhabbat. Halid deenu illa al-hub. So these four pillars upon which the true Dawat stands, this is the foundation. Lahu da'watul haq. As I said, from Darul Kashf, Darul Satr, one cycle after the other continues till Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came and spread the deen, the religion of Islam. And after him, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Through trials and tribulations, Mu'mineen. And then descendants of Ali and Fatima and Rasulullah, Imam after Imam. And in seclusion, Da'i after Da'i. If we were to go through history, it would take a very long time. They established this true Dawat by divine inspiration. Everyone so the true meaning remains true, not distorted. So all who answer the true Dawat can attain eternal life and go back to paradise where we came from. That is the reason, that is the meaning, that is why the Dawat is established here. That is why you are being called to it. It is said medicine is a very noble profession. It is true, because it heals so many people. It saves so many lives. Humans have this understanding and respect for that, as they should. But consider that life here, as we said, death is a fact. We can try, but at some point everybody knows they have to pass. These people of God, the reason for establishing the true Dawat, calling you to that, is to elevate you, to bring you to Jannat. Ibrahim Nabi said in the Quran, فَمَنْ تَبِعَنِي فَإِنَّهُ مِنِّي. The one who follows me is with me. Syedna Taher Fakhruddin, when he went to Ajmer, there is a big dargah of Muslimin in Ajmer. So they ask people when they come over there to open the Quran as a file to see who has come. They insisted, Syedna Taher Fakhruddin open the Quran. And this ayat came, الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ النَّبِيَّ الْأُمِّي. These are the people who follow the Prophet. Everybody said Allahu Akbar at that time. We follow. So, to achieve salvation, to achieve eternal life. So these people of God, this is far noble to give you eternal life. They go through trials, tribulations. People are misled because there is also the reason that many people of religion have done so many bad things that people keep remembering that and adjoining that with the true guides. Just take a look at Rasulullah's time. After Rasulullah's companions, as they are called, they themselves usurped what Rasulullah gave to Amir al-Mu'mineen. And therefore, in this Dawr-us-Satr, these evil activities continue. There is a question in our Khitaabs that did God create, if God created everything, then why are there evil people and evil here? That needs to be answered with the 4 chapters that I explained, that this is the second creation. Those who fell here, the reason they did not answer the call of Dawat, because of their jealousy, because of their takabbur, because of their ego, and they fell here. Those have not gone away. We see humans, the whole world goes around with ego. Everybody wants to be up another. Every country wants to do this, that. There is always fighting going on here and there, in this door especially. But God did not create evil. To answer that question, Syedna Burhanuddin was once asked that in the first creation, God gave free will. Everybody chose, created equal with free will. They chose. It is their choosing. They were given that choice. But if they were not given a choice, then they would be just like idols, is what Syedna Burhanuddin said. Or as a robot, functioning on what? None of their volition or their human spirit, as we call it today. That soul that you have, the desire, the choice, that is the intrinsic part of what makes a human, because of their intellect, because of the choice that it holds. And therefore we see those things in this world which are evil. And that fight continues. Therefore you see the trials and tribulations of people of God in this world. And when we are here tonight for Husain Imam Chehlum, the pinnacle of calamities that fell upon Husain, Mu'mineen, Mu'minat. Due to short time, I will share some words of counsel with you. after believing, after learning who we are, why we are here, why we are answering the call of Dawat, with reason, understanding, with love and kindness, with your free will. Now it is time for action. Believing, ilm, knowledge, with that comes the burden of deeds. Syedna Ali bin Hanzala says in a poem, وَبَعْدَ هَذَا فَالسَّعِيدُ مَنْ نَزَرَ. After understanding all this, what you have heard, what you have learned, the blissful person is the one who looks to the benefit of his soul before he passes away from this land. Seeing those who have died before him, he takes advantage of the time that is left for him before the time of separation and the sailing of the ship, which is when his body decomposes, when it's time to go. When he is here, he looks at the world with the eye of discernment. He thinks about what he did with his life. He assesses his own actions and runs away from his captivity. With the spirit of knowledge, he brings to life his ignorant being. With knowledge, seeks the light of guidance from the true guides, makes up the time for which he has lost by taking advantage of the time that remains of his life with sincerity and devotion. Mu'mineen, mu'minat, believe with conviction. You are who you believe. Don't let people who separated the church and state make you believe to live in this world that you have to compartmentalize religion in your life. Your religion, your belief, you lead your life with that goal in mind. All the actions you take, the Sharia that Rasulullah has brought forward, is for your own good. It's to elevate your soul. The knowledge that is given to you is for that. Reaching a conclusion of how to lead your life, after understanding why you are here and where you are going, should be the utmost importance to you. Syedna Muayyad says, I will only summarize in 1-2 sentences, that all this creation is not for nothing. It is for a reason. You have been given this intellect by which you can, sitting here, understand things going over there, which are not in your sight, not in your vision, not in your physical senses. But with the intellect, you are able to understand things in the sky, things that are far and beyond. And all that given to you for what? So you may live like animals, just eat, drink and finish. Syedna Muayyad says, no, the wisdom of the Almighty will not be wasted. لن تبطل فيكم حكمة الحكيم وتقدير العزيز العليم. مؤمنين مؤمنات مملوك آل Muhammad, Imams Da'i, am establishing the true Dawat, Dawatul Haq. My life is sacrifice for my Mawla, Imam Zaman. نفسي على مولى الورى فادية رائحة في ذكره غادية.
نفسي على مولى الورى فادية رائحة في ذكره غادية.
With my Mawla Imam Zaman's ta'eed, I established this true Dawat. Like the Ikhwan as-Safa, as it is translated, brethren of purity. I seek to establish the true Dawat where there is brotherhood amongst you all, love and security for you all. No one will be persecuted. All my efforts are to elevate the people of Dawat in their status in deen, in religion, and in their world. In the Quran it says, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most noble one amongst you is one who is the most pious. Those are the principles of Dawat. Mu'mineen, I would like to share with you that I am always available to assist you day and night in whatever way possible. My father used to say that even when one mu'min calls me, I answer to him. Mu'mineen, mu'minat, I urge you on this blessed night of Chehlum, of Aqaid o Jahan Husain, to lead a pious and good life. Usikum bit taqwa. Amir al-Mu'mineen said that I ask you to keep taqwa, be conscious of Allah Taala all the time during your life, in all actions and deeds you do. Combine your religion with your world. Live the best life you can here. As Amir al-Mu'mineen has said about the Shia, live here in the best way possible. But always, all the time, be kind, be good, do good, and excel in learning the ilm of Ali Muhammad, the true knowledge, and always be thankful. Always remember your Creator. Do not forget Allah Taala. Never forget where we came from and where you are going. Your Qibla and Kaaba of your soul, Imam Zaman, guides us that the ultimate goal in our life is to make our abode in the hereafter by following Sirat al-Mustaqim, the guidance set forth by our Imams and Du'as, by which one day we will all reach paradise, inshallah, which is our real home, where there is eternal life and happiness. Mu'mineen, in this Waaz, in this sermon, and do Allah Ta'ala's hamd and give praise and thanks to Him. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi allazi ja'alana min shi'ati man ja'alahum lil muttaqina imama. We give praise and thanks to Allah Ta'ala, who made us Shia of the Imam of the pious. I pray salawat on Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussain, Khamsat Athar, and his descendants, Aimmat Athar. Alu Tahir Rida Khairatul Khairi wa Amanul Anami min al-Ghairi.
Alu Tahir Rida Khairatul Khairi wa Amanul Anami min al-Ghairi.
Taha's descendants are the best of the best. Syedna Taher Fakhruddin says in his poem, and they are the safety for all. I pray salawat on each and every Imam, Tayyib Imam, Abul Qasim Amir al-Mu'mineen, and his descendants. Our Imam, Imam Zaman, Tayyib al-Asr, Waliyul Fath wal Nasr, and his salawat may reach his du'at mutlaqeen. May Allah Ta'ala shower du'at mutlaqeen's waris, the inheritor of du'at's nas, Maulana Khuzaimah Qutbuddin, with the blessings of salawat, and by their hurmat, panjatan aimmat du'at, by their sanctity. I pray, Mu'mineen, for me and you on this Mubarak night of Chehlum, by taking Abaa Husain's wasila, by his sanctity. May Allah Ta'ala give you prosperity and success in your livelihood, in your jobs, in your careers, in your aspirations, in your desires to do khidmat of da'wat. May Allah Ta'ala free us all from burdens of debt. May Allah Ta'ala keep us all in good health and well-being. May Allah subhanahu heal our sick and have mercy, bestow rahmat on those who have passed. May Allah Taala grant our children long and happy lives and give them, inspire them to the true Dawat on Sirat-e Mustaqim, to lead their life according to the guidance of our Mawali. May Allah Ta'ala keep you all mu'mineen happy in your homes with your family. Those who desire for marriage, may Allah Ta'ala grant them their wish. Those who desire children, may Allah by Husain's wasila give them their wish. May He bless your homes, your households. And may Allah Ta'ala give you success. I pray this especially for youngsters in their careers, in their studies, their desiring to achieve success in. May Allah Ta'ala give them aid for that. And on this Mubarak night of Chehlum Mu'mineen, I do dua that may Allah Ta'ala grant us our most desired wish, that we may see the Zari of Abaa Hasaninya in Karbala. Inshallah, very soon. Mu'mineen, Mu'minat. May He give us direction, tawfiq, to always worship Allah subhanahu, Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'een. Live our life in thanks, always remembering Allah Ta'ala's blessings, which are uncountable, cannot be counted. There are so many blessings. How would we ever thank Him? وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you try and count Allah's blessing, you cannot count them. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. And all the blessings are from Him. Mu'mineen, may Allah Ta'ala keep the banner of Dawat, Dawatul Haqq, high and lofty. And may He bring the false banners of falsehood and disbelievers down. And keep us safe from their evil doings. By the wasila of Panjatan Mu'mineen, Aimmat and Du'at, I pray on this Mubarak night of Chehlum, may Allah Ta'ala grant you happiness in both worlds. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين. And may Allah Ta'ala shower us with the barakat, with blessings of this salawat till the day of judgment, inshaAllah Ta'ala.
शान तेरी वाह वाह खूब प्यारी लगी, शान तेरी वाह वाह खूब प्यारी लगी, वदअनई धब जुदी तर्ज नियारी लगी, वदअनई धब जुदी तर्ज नियारी लगी, शान तेरी वाह वाह खूब प्यारी लगी। अहले वाला खुश हुए सुन के तेरे सब सुखान, अहले वाला खुश हुए सुन के तेरे सब सुखान, रहने गवारा लगा आवाज गवारी लगी, लहन गवारा लगा आवाज गवारी लगी, शान तेरी वाह वाह खूब प्यारी लगी। देख तेरा फैज़ यूं कहता है हातिम का दिल, देख तेरा फैज़ यूं कहता है हातिम का दिल, रश्क की आफत मुझे गोया कटारी लगी, रश्क की आफत मुझे या कटारी लगी शान तेरी वाह वाह खूब प्यारी लगी
या माशरल मुमिनीना इब्कुल इमाम अल मुबीना इब्कुल हुमाम अल यमीना इब्कुल वली अल अमीना इब्कुबना खैर निसाई वाला फताया हुसैना या सय्यद शुहदाई
يا معشر المؤمنين عيب كل إمام المبين عيب كلهما اليمين عيب كل ولي الأمين عيب كبنا خير النساء ولهفتا يا حسين يا سيد الشهداء
Azadaran Hussain, Mu'mineen, we have gathered here to mourn Aqa Hussain, to remember the calamities that befell him in Karbala. Syedna Taher Fakhruddin says that remember him, weep for him, shed your tears for Hussain, who reached Karbala on the 2nd of Muharram. It is recounted that Hussain was going towards Kufa. Hur, who had brought the enemy's soldiers with him, was beside Hussain. They were going in the same direction. When Hussein's horse stopped walking, Hussain Imam urges his horse to go forward, but the horse does not go forward. At that point, Hussain Imam said, there is a wisdom, there must be a reason for this. He called the people near that village and asked them, what is the name of this place where my horse is standing? At first, people started giving names of the villages nearby. Nainava, Marsiya. Then Hussain Imam said, is there no elder in your village? Call him. When they called him, Hussain Imam asked him, I ask you that where Hussein's horse is standing, tell me the name of this place. That elder does araz at that time to Hussain Imam and said that this place, the name of this place is Karbala. Hussain Imam says, Karbun wa bala.
Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain,
आगे आगे सुल्तान दीन और दुनिया चेहरे पे खून गुर्बत जुल्फों में गर्द सहरा घोड़ा जो थम गया है कुछ पूछते हैं मौला वादा जो याद आया हमराहियों से पूछा मालूम है किसी को नाम इस ज़मीं का क्या है मालूम है किसी को नाम इस ज़मीं का क्या है एक जानिसार बोला ये अर्द मारिया है कि अर्ज दूसरे ने मौला ये नवा है बोला कोई ये बढ़कर दिल गम से रो रहा है ये कल्ब की जगह है ये मंजिल बला है बादशाह है आलम नाम इसका करबला है
Then came the 7th of Muharram, when the order from the enemy's commander came to move Hussain away from the water. For 3 days, Hussein, his Ahl Bayt, Ashab, and his small children are without water, without food. And this is Rasulullah's grandson. The night of Ashura, Hussein, the whole night, Hussein, and he asked all his ashab, his companions and Ahl Bayt to pray for us so that Allah Taala may forgive our sins. And when came the time of Ashura, the day of Ashura, Hussein's house, Rasulullah's house, was full. But when the sun went down, it is recited that there were so many janazah, so many shuhada, so many corpses on the field of Karbala.
Ya Hussein!
Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein
है शाह कौनैन पे आलम की फजा हो रही है शाह कौनैन पे आलम की फजा हमें शबीर में ज़हरा को रुलाया किसे
Azad Hussain, Mu'mineen, I will pray Shahaadat of Imam Husain, and I urge you all to remember Aqa Hussain, to imagine Karbala. Hussain is in the middle and surrounded by all these enemies, and is doing arguments with the enemies, saying, I am the grandson of the Prophet. You may search the whole world, you will not find any other than me. I am the Imam. At that time, Imam's Dawat, the true Dawat, is always answered. Hur alayhi salam heard Husain's argument. He is the one who had stopped Husain Imam. At that time, he was a great warrior, and he started shivering. The people around him asked him, what is going on? He said, at this point, when I am hearing Husain, I have given my soul a choice between heaven and hell. I have to choose now. And he chose, and he came near Husain, bowed his head, and took raza, and then fought for Husain, and died. Mu'mineen, as well as did all the other ashabs, they sacrificed their life for truth, for Husain, who is truth personified. And then came the time of Ahl Bayt. Mu'mineen, remember Abaa Hasaninya, who went to get water, and the enemies cut his hands, and he fell from his horse. Remember Husain.
Ya Sayyidi.
Ya Sayyidi, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Sayyidi.
Azadaran Husain. Remember Husain's son Ali Akbar. The enemies put a spear in his heart. When Ali fell down, he called Husain. Husain came, took Ali Akbar's head in his lap, and started moving all the dust from his face and said, after you, my son, there is no hope of this world. In Husain's hand, Azadaru, his Shehzada Ali Asghar, 6 months old child. The enemies put an arrow in his neck. Husain, one calamity, after another calamity, after another calamity. Now is all alone in Karbala. Syedna Taher Fakhruddin says that the time when Husain bid farewell to his Ahl Bayt, his haram, is more dreadful than the day of judgment. He says, Yawmun min al-hashri arba'a. إذ الإمام الأرواح في آخر العهد ودى تلك السريات أجمع حسين علي العباء وعلى فتايا حسين يا سيد الشهداء
يوم من الحشر أرواح ذي الإمام الأرواح في آخر العهد ودعت لك السريات أجمع وزين للعباء ولهفة يا حسين يا سيد الشهداء.
Azadarani Hussain, I will now pray Shahaadat of Abaa Hussain. My only request for you tonight is that you shed tears remembering Hussain. Do matam remembering Hussain. Ya Hussain!
Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain!
मुमिनीन शाह का करो मातम, मुमिनीन शाह का करो मातम, शेख गम में आँख को करो पुरनाम, शेख गम में आँख को करो पुरनाम, शेख गम हमारे पास अमानत है, शेख गम हमारे पास अमानत है, करबला में आज तो कयामत है.
Azadarani Hussain. After bidding farewell to the haram, placing the crown of Nas on Zainul Abidin's head, making him his successor, Hussain went into battle with Zulfiqar, with the sword in his hand, killing the enemies until the time of Shahaadat, the time of martyrdom, which was written down in Khitaab, in Lawh Mahfuz. That time came near. Jibreel came with angels asking Hussain that if you order, we will vanquish all the enemies. At that time, Hussain says to Jibreel, first you tell me what is God's will. Jibreel said to Hussain, God's will is that you sacrifice yourself. At that time, Hussain put his sword in the sheath. Control of Zulfiqar. Hussain is not fighting anymore. The horse understood that. But who will do khidmat? Who will do service at this time? The horse put his foot down. At that time, Hussain went and sat down near a date tree. It is narrated that when all the enemies saw that Hussain is not fighting, they surrounded Rasulullah's grandson. Some started hitting him with stones, some with spears, some with swords. Calamity after calamity after calamity. How many wounds can one take?
Ya Hussain!
Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain! Ya Hussain!
बैठने दे मक्खीना जिस जिस्म के ऊपर उस जिस्म पे हो तीरों की बौछार हुसैना, उस जिस्म पे हो तीरों की बौछार हुसैना, लाचार हुसैना बेयार हुसैना, लाचार हुसैना बेयार हुसैना. वो खंजरे बेपीर कुजा वाए मुक़द्दर और वो सगा है अहमद मुख्तार हुसैना, और वो सगा है अहमद मुख्तार.
Azadarani Hussain. Lain shimmer came. He had a blunt sword in his hand. He is wearing shoes of steel and comes and kicks Hussain. This is Hussain, who is now on the floor, on the earth of Karbala. At one time, Rasulullah used to place Hussain on his shoulders and show his lofty rank and station. And here these namesake Muslims are now doing this to Rasulullah's grandson? Mu'mineen. Then Lain Shimar sat on Husain's chest, and it is narrated that he took his blunt knife and tried to do zabih, tried to slaughter Husain. At that time, Husain says to him that your sword will not work here, because this is where my grandfather Rasulullah used to kiss me. You get up. I will do prostration, pray for Mu'mineen, and you may sever my head. At that time, Shimar got up. Azadaru. Mu'mineen, this is Husain doing the last sajda of prostration, telling us that in his line the imamat succession will last till Qiyamat, doing dua, that Imam in concealment dua will continue his true dawat, and in his dua, in his sajda, in his last sajda of Shahaadat, Husain, you remember that Husain remembered you at that time. That is why today you are a believer. You are the one who loves Husain because of Husain's dua. And you will be with Husain in paradise because of Husain's dua. And inshallah ta'ala, our children will be with us in paradise because of Husain's dua. Husain is in prostration in sajda doing dua. In Lain Shimar severs Husain's head from his pure body. Ya Husaina! Ya Husain! 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 Ya हल्का पर की दो खंजर ने जारी शहने गयूं के उठे नारी बूटी छुरिया नहीं चले तारी शहने गो सजदा मकी दी शिमर ये गर्दन उतारी शिमर ये पारा दुनिया सी सरवर हाय सिधारा महर ने माह थया छे अंधारा बिछड़ा हरम सी सब न सहारा ज़ैनब पुकारा हाय हुसैना हुसैना या हुसैना हुसैना या हुसैना या हुसैना करो मातम हुसैना या हुसैना जो किस्सा करबला का याद आया अज़ादारों का दिल बेहद दुखाया लहू के आश्क का
शाहिदी की बका हो तूल या रब फख्र दी की शब आशूर अर्जी है खुदाया करो मातम हुसैन आया हुसैना बज़अत कर तू मातम या हुसैना जहाँ लगता महदम या हुसैना ये मातम ने नबी को खुश कराया करो मातम हुसैना या हुसैना या
الفاتحة